out at 6, and it was the ticky-tack fouls, and again, Caitlin Clark doing a little bit of an acting job. Not sure if that was actually a foul, but again, that's for the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier.
WNBA just dropped a bombshell that has Brittney Griner was shivering like a years of whispers and speculation. The league finally declared obligatory gender testing for all players. The Griner's timing couldn't be worse, who already has to deal with huge reaction to her controversial statements about Caitlin Clark. This could change. What do you think is new about the WNBA? Policy regarding mandatory gender testing is long overdue, or just another attempt to create controversy in women's basketball.
Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man. One of the videos that give us cause to say that is this video. It is from her Instagram stories from years and years ago. And when it comes to Instagram, they use a combination of like AI detection and plus manual surveyors to make sure that no explicit content ends up on the platform. So clearly whatever AI detection system was used when Brittney posted this and it stayed up for 106 weeks was not like, oh, this is a female chest, we have to take this down. Oftentimes, if breast cancer runs in a family, women will preemptively get like double mastectomies. There are some great surgeons out there, don't get me wrong, but I don't see any scars on Brittney's chest that would be indicative of a double mastectomy or top surgery for gender transition.
Well, the chickens have finally come only one place for Brittney Griner to roost when she considered the drama. That video that calls Caitlin Clark derogatory names was starting to die down. The WNBA decides to drop the ultimate reality check that must include gender testing for each and every player. Let me tell you, the announcement's timing is perfect or terrible depending on the situation. On your perspective, the league tried to make this seem like a regular update to the policy. But nobody's buying that nonsense. This has Griner's fingerprints all over it. She has been aware of it for a number of years. Been whispers, speculation, and outright questions regarding the eligibility of particular are actually biologically in the WNBA. The league has been dancing with females around this issue like it's radioactive. However, it appears they cannot ignore it. No longer the official statement made by the WNBA was about as generic as I imagine. They talked about keeping competitive integrity and ensuring fair play for all athletes, but we all know what really matters here is the league finally recognizing what everyone is doing. Eyeballs, that work has been saying for years, but some things just don't add up regarding particular players.
About to get into that is really hard and really scary. You're about to be a mom. How is that feeling? Pops. Oh, let me get it together. About to be a pops. Please tell me how exciting that is for you and what you're looking forward to most.
I'm super excited. Well, I mean, I guess I'll just drop it. He's here. So he's here, yes. 7/8/24.
Brittney Griner has been at the center of these discussions since her physical prepared her for the league. Attributes, voice, and overall appearance have raised questions that the mainstream sports media has been too hesitant to speak. But now that the WNBA is implementing mandatory testing, those questions are about to get some very fascinating responses. The policy reportedly demands that all players undergo comprehensive hormonal and chromosomal testing before each season. This isn't just a simple drug test. We're talking about detailed biological analysis that will determine once and for all whether players meet the league's criteria for female competition. The results will be reviewed by independent physicians, and any player who falls short of the requirements will be prohibited from participating. Of course, the usual suspects in the media already complaining about this policy. They're calling it discriminatory, invasive, and transphobic. But here's the thing, women's sports are supposed to be for women. That's not a controversial assertion. It is fundamental biological reality. If you cannot demonstrate your biological female, you shouldn't be competing against women who are. This announcement's timing is especially harmful to Griner as a result of she already has to deal with the consequences from the viral video in which she was seen to call Caitlin Clark a racial slur. That incident exposed Griner's true character and showed exactly how she feels about the player who's single-handedly saving the WNBA from irrelevance. Now she's facing the possibility that her entire career might be in jeopardy.
I saw this and was like, a lady mistake.
Let's be honest about what we're dealing with here. Griner stands 6'9" and tall, has a deep voice that Barry White would jealous, and possesses physical characteristics that are much more consistent. These have more male biology than female. Aren't these personal attacks Observable facts that have been ignored. The Instagram video has been up for far too long. That surfaced years ago showing Gurrier's shirtless raised additional concerns regarding the fact that Instagram's artificial intelligence system didn't flag the content as female nudity. That is inappropriate suggests that artificial intelligence in itself algorithms couldn't identify Gurrier as biologically female when machines are unsure of your gender, which is probably a sign that humans should be asking questions too, but the most damning evidence might be Gurrier's athletic performance compared to the physical advantages for WNBA players are unquestionable superior reach, power, and athletic ability that far exceed what you'd expect from a biological female. These benefits have resulted in the professional success that might not have been possible if Griner had been competing with men who are biological. Rumors about Gurrier's upbringing has reached uncontrollable levels. Additionally, some people believe that Gurrier might be anorexic, which would still provide significant advantages in biology over typical female competitors. Others suggest there might be ongoing hormone treatment that is unfair to Gurrier. The mandatory testing will finally provide responses to these inquiries. Makes this situation even more complicated is Gurrier's personal life and relationships. In Gurrier's style presents socially and romantically has always been more consistent with male patterns of behavior than female patterns. This isn't about sexual orientation. Plenty of this is about biological women being gay. Fundamental aspects of biology and behavior characteristics that don't align with the WNBA's typical female development. Decision to implement testing that is required most likely was not done lightly. They're coping with the growing pressure from sponsors, players, and fans who want assurance that there is fair competition. The league has already been struggling with credibility issues, and questions about player eligibility were becoming impossible to ignore. The policy also comes at a time when sports for women are experiencing unprecedented expansion. As a result, to genuine female athletes like Caitlin, the success of Clark has brought millions of new female fans basketball. And these enthusiasts anticipate seeing genuine female competition in the event of doubts concerning player eligibility undermine authenticity. It could destroy everything. Clark has constructed. The system of this testing policy will be fascinating to observe. Players with nothing to hide should welcome the opportunity to disarm critics and demonstrate their eligibility, but potential players' concerns regarding the outcomes will probably utilize the legal system to oppose the policy. And public relations campaigns for legal challenges are already starting to emerge. Several advocacy groups are threatening lawsuits claiming the book testing violates, discriminates against, and violates privacy rights. A few groups. But these arguments crumble when you think about that women's sports are made just for provide biological products with fair competition. Females, if you can't prove you meet that essential requirement in which you do not belong, the league, as reported by the media, the story was obviously biased. The main sports media outlets are concentrating regarding the debate and discrimination rather than the fundamental fairness issues at hand. They are more worried about by safeguarding particular narratives than ensuring competitive integrity in women's sports, but not the fans. Purchasing the media's spin on social media exploding with support for the testing policy, and many people are specifically identifying Gurrier as a person in need to undergo thorough public investigation, has been ahead of the institutions on this problem for a long time. And now the WNBA is finally catching up with the rest of the world. Implications of this policy are also significant. Other women's sports leagues around the world are keeping an eye out to see how does the WNBA handle this policy is effective at maintaining integrity in the competitive market, a model for other businesses that the Olympics and related issues. Other international competitions have been grappling with gender eligibility questions. The WNBA strategy for years could provide a template for how to respond to these circumstances in a manner that protects female athletes while preserving fairness and openness. For Gurrier, specifically, this policy represents an existential threat to her career and legacy in the event that the test reveals that she is not compatible with the biological criteria for female competition. Everything she's done during her time in the WNBA's legitimacy could be questioned. Trophies and records from championships could be viewed in different ways. In hindsight, the psychological pressure on Gurrier must be enormous. She's already dealing with public criticism over her remarks regarding Caitlin Clark, and the present she has to deal with the possibility that her entire professional identity could be challenged. The situation's stress might explain some of her recent controversial conduct, and the public statements, the other WNBA players are probably closely following this situation carefully, and the majority of them are biological females who have worked their lives to compete at the highest level. In the event that some of their rivals have been employing unjust biological advantages, those players deserve answers, and financial accountability. The policy's repercussions could be huge if testing demonstrates that certain high-profile players don't meet. The league's eligibility requirements could face lawsuits, sponsor withdrawals, and fan opposition, but in the long run, advantages of maintaining competitive probably outweigh these and integrity risks in the short term. The policy also sends a clear message about the WNBA's priorities. After being for years criticized for putting politics ahead of sports, that the league is finally adopting represent fairness and competition in this could help restore credibility and trust with fans who feel abandoned by decisions made before the implementation. The testing's timetable will be crucial. If the league moves too quickly, they could face challenges in court that could delay or impede the procedure. But if they slow down too much, critics might say, them of giving time to some players to prepare for or contest the policy. The process of independent medical review will be particularly important. The WNBA must ensure that the testing is overseen by qualified professionals who cannot be accused of favoritism or bias. The credibility of the results is entirely dependent on the honesty of the testing procedure. For female fans, basketball, this policy has a long history. Overdue step toward ensuring fair athletes who should be competing on a level playing field regarding their adversaries' biological benefits that compromise the integrity of the game, and the example this sets for if they other sports could be important. This sports competition is phenomenal. Other leagues might try to implement mandatory gender testing, but the WNBA succeeded. Follow suit, and this could have a larger impact on the management of women's sports. It will be fascinating to follow the examination's questions about gender eligibility across all scientific levels of competition in modern medicine. The ability of technology to provide in-depth information about it should be impossible to speculate or debate about a player's eligibility because of a person's biological levels of sex hormones and the genetic makeup of the results. Dispute in public relations over this policy will be intense. Advocates on both sides will attempt to frame the story in ways in which their positions are supported, but ultimately, the information provided by the testing will be more persuasive than spin or advocacy efforts in support of Brittney Griner. This represents the moment of truth that many people have been waiting for. All the speculation-related inquiries and controversies could finally be resolved through objective scientific testing. The results will either vindicate her or expose potential problems that may have hidden for years. The WNBA's decision to implement this policy shows that even forward-thinking sports organizations eventually confronting biological truthfully, facts and science can be ignored for a while, but eventually competitive integrity becomes more important than in this situation. Political correctness perfectly exemplifies the larger gender sports-related cultural tensions and fairness that are playing out across the WNBA is just one battleground in society. In a larger war over whether biological reality matters in competitive athletics, the outcome of this policy, the effects of implementation will be felt far beyond women's basketball. It could influence how other sports leagues, athletics, and educational institutions similar circumstances are handled by organizations. In the future, the WNBA's mandatory policy regarding gender testing has Brittney Griner in the driver's seat, and the outcomes might change everything we thought we knew. This is about women's basketball, accountability occasion that has lasted for years in the making. What do you think? These your predictions will be disappointed by the tests. Below, hit that like button and subscribe for more explosive sports coverage.